tonight on Ctv3 News. Massachusetts families sue Belize resort over preventable deaths of daughters, highlighting corporate negligence and safety failures. Also, more details emerge in the murders of Fernie Big Bang Pollard and Brianna Flowers. In Kikocker, a boat goes missing, prompting an investigation. And the president of Guyana bids farewell to Belize. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Tuesday, February 3rd, 2026.
That's me. My data and I really need to get my ARA out today.
Really? Well, you can join our Smart Group plan.
Really? How that work?
Easy, let me tell you.
Whether it's family, friends, or your small business, we've got the perfect plan for every group. More members equals more savings, more connections. Smart group plans bring the connectivity you love to you and your circle. No one gets left behind. Explore Share One package option and add on unlimited data, calls, and SMS for the entire group for less than $50 per member. Visit any Smart showroom countrywide or email sales@speednet-wireless.com to sign up today. Smart, bringing people together.
From whiskeys and wines to elegantly crafted cocktails. Paired with charcuterie boards and perfectly seasoned steak bites, and much more. Perfect for celebrations, quiet nights, and every special occasion in between. 7 notes. From whiskeys and wines to elegantly crafted cocktails. Paired with charcuterie boards and perfectly seasoned steak bites, and much more. Perfect for celebrations, quiet nights, and every special occasion in between. 7 Notes Wine and Spirits, where every sip hits the right note.
ExpressNet now has up to 400 megabytes of high-speed internet. Choose the speed that fits you, from faster browsing to faster gaming. Connect more devices at once, or bundle it with Express Plus and HBO Max. Internet and streaming entertainment, all in one.
Yeah, faster starts here.
Sign up today at any Centaur office or contact us to get started.
The Civil Registry Department and Vital Statistics Unit provides comprehensive information. The Civil Registry Department and Vital Statistics Unit provides comprehensive information services to assist citizens in obtaining official documentation related to key life events. You can apply for birth, death, marriage, adoption, or deed poll certificates for records that have already been registered. You can also request tailored information extracts or certified copies of documents about specific life events. All vital statistics information services are available through the new Civil Registry and Vital Statistics System, CRVS. You can complete all services online from the comfort of your own home, or if you prefer face-to-face interaction or need additional support, you can visit their nearest office to complete any service. The new CRVS, digitally connecting citizens to all vital statistics services. Visit crvs.gov.bz today to access our services.
Good evening with your news also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7. I am Joanna Rodriguez. 3 Massachusetts families have taken legal action following the tragic deaths of their daughters in Belize last year. The families of Wafé El Arar, Iman Mala, and Kotor Naquad have filed a federal lawsuit against Royal Cal Beach Resort in San Pedro, alleging gross negligence and prioritization of profit over guest safety. The announcement was made today during a press conference in Massachusetts. The 3 young women were found unresponsive in their hotel room on February 22nd after being missing for 2 days. Initial reports from Belizean authorities suggested a drug overdose, citing the presence of froth around their mouths and discovering alcohol and edible gummies inside the room. Early investigations also ruled out carbon monoxide poisoning after 2 separate tests found no evidence of it. However, subsequent toxicology reports from U.S. officials confirmed that carbon monoxide poisoning was the sole cause of death. This revelation contradicts initial Belizean findings and has become a central focus of the family's legal pursuit. The lawsuit accuses the resort, its developers, contractors, and the online travel platform Expedia of placing profits ahead of safety protocols. Attorney Tom Scalora, representing the families, emphasized that these deaths were preventable and not mere accidents.
Three young Massachusetts women, Wafai LLR, Kautar Nakad, and Iman Mala, lost their lives at the Royal Cahal Resort in Belize due to carbon monoxide exposure while staying at a resort that actively marketed itself to American consumers. This was not an unavoidable accident. That, as we allege in the complaint, it was a foreseeable result of decisions that put safety last and bottom line profits first.
Yeah, the attorney also alleges that prior to the deaths, the resort had a mechanical ventilation installer who was fired due to high expenses.
He also warned that the case could set an important precedent about corporate accountability for American travelers. The attorney expressed concern that the defendants might attempt to shift the case to Belize, where wrongful death damages are limited and often decided by a judge with compensation. In Belize, damages are restricted to economic losses, which might be zero, he noted. A local boat owner was left distraught after a skiff was stolen from a docking area near Salties in Key Caulker late Sunday evening. The incident took place around 9:36 p.m. and involved a blue and white lantern vessel named Carlotta, fitted with a 75 horsepower engine. The theft was reported just before midnight by Captain Victor Canol, who notified authorities that the vessel belongs to Rene Villanueva. According to police, a tracker installed on the stolen skiff recorded its movements away from the docking site. However, shortly afterward, the signal was lost, indicating that the tracking device was likely disabled to evade detection. Officials conducted a quick search in the Eden Isle area but found no immediate leads. The investigation remains active as authorities work to uncover more details about the theft. Authorities are revealing fresh details in the investigation into the sudden and tragic deaths of Belizean music star Fernie Big Bang Pollard and 31-year-old Brianna Flowers, whose lifeless bodies were discovered inside a residential property on January 27th in Las Vegas. The incident has sent shockwaves through both the local community and Belize, where Pollard was celebrated for his rising musical career. According to U.S. law enforcement officials, a young boy identified as Flowers' 7-year-old son was the one who called emergency services after finding his mother in distress. When officers arrived at the scene, they found both Flowers and Pollard deceased. The authorities have launched a double homicide investigation, but as of now, no arrests have been made. Sources close to Flowers have shared that she had been living in fear in the weeks leading up to her death. Her godmother, Shatira Davis, told Fox News 5 that Flowers confided in her about a violent encounter with her ex-boyfriend on January 21st. Flowers reportedly sustained bruises and injuries severe enough to require medical attention, and she expressed fears for her safety.
Dead.
Her family loves her. We're going to step up and make sure Emil has that foundation that he needs in this time. We're going to make sure he's okay. We're going to take the best care that we can.
Davis says Flowers reached out to her on January 21st about an incident involving her then boyfriend. Davis says police were called and that Flowers had bruises and other injuries and needed emergency care. Davis says by the time that officers arrived, the ex had left and was not arrested. Police have not confirmed with us whether this incident was connected to the case, but family says the ex had threatened to kill Flowers just days before she was found dead.
And anyone with information, contact Crime Stoppers. The number is right there on your screen, 702-385-5555.
Family members also reported that Flowers has been experiencing suspicious activity around her home, including receiving calls from unknown numbers and noticing someone peering through her windows. Law enforcement has yet to confirm whether these incidents are connected to the murders. Pollard, a talented artist known for his dedication to music and collaborations with prominent musicians, had been staying with Flowers in the days leading up to the tragedy. The recent unveiling of Jeffrey Epstein's extensive digital archive has shed new light on the financier's vast network of associations, including intriguing but relatively limited reference to Belize. The release, which comprises millions of pages of documents, images, and videos, was made public on January 30th in accordance with the Epstein Files Transparency Act. While the files have sparked widespread interest, the search for mentions of Belize reveals a nuanced picture rather than direct links. Historically, Jeffrey Epstein's case has been one of the most high-profile legal and social scandals of recent decades. Accused of running a global sex trafficking ring involving underage girls, Epstein's connections to influential figures in politics, finance, and entertainment have fueled intense public scrutiny. His arrest in 2019, followed by his death in jail under controversial circumstances, left many questions unanswered. The subsequent release of his legal documents has continued to stir debate, exposing a web of relationships that extended into various spheres of power. In examining the newly available files, a search for the term Belize returns 156 results. However, a closer look reveals that most references are superficial, often duplicated, or unrelated to Epstein's core activities. Many are merely passing mentions, such as general correspondence, market research, or casual references, rather than substantive connections. Nonetheless, among the genuine records are some noteworthy mentions. For instance, a 2017 email exchange between Epstein and an individual named Al Ford discusses Belize's emerging real estate market, with Belize described as a great tax shelter. Epstein's response, expressing interest and noting he would return around the 20th of that month, hints at Belize's potential as a financial refuge, an aspect consistent with Epstein's known interest in offshore tax havens. Additional references in the archive involve Epstein's business associates and his then-girlfriend, who exchanged emails about vacation trips to Belize, often with a positive tone. These mentions, while less politically charged, contribute to the broader picture of Epstein's lifestyle and travel habits. Coming up next, President of Guyana wraps up official visit to Belize. Stay tuned.
The Civil Registry Department and Vital Statistics Unit provides comprehensive information services to assist citizens in obtaining official documentation related to key life events. You can apply for birth, death, marriage, adoption, or deed poll certificates for records that have already been registered. You can also request tailored information extracts or certified copies of documents about specific life events. All vital statistics information services are available through the new Civil Registry and Vital Statistics System, CRVS. You can complete all services online from the comfort of your own home, or if you prefer face-to-face interaction or need additional support, you can visit their nearest office to complete any service. The new CRVS, digitally connecting citizens to all vital statistics services. Visit crvs.gov.bz today to access our services.
From whiskeys and wines to elegantly crafted cocktails. Paired with charcuterie boards and perfectly seasoned steak bites, and much more. Perfect for celebrations, quiet nights, and every special occasion in between. 7 Notes Wine and Spirits, where every sip hits the right note.
Basketball fans, the NBA season is back and more electrifying than ever.
Forever.
Witness every battle, every dunk, and every overhead and back pass with Centaur's Express Plus app. This season is a must-watch event packed with heart-stopping moments and unforgettable plays. Don't miss out. Stream all the action live on the Centaur's Express Plus app.
Hey, drop James Harden's ass!
Express Plus, your front row seat to the 2025 NBA season.
Finally, a postpaid plan for 3 people. Introducing Smart Trio. Why pay for mobile service alone when you can share and save? Get unlimited national calls, texts, plus 100 gigabytes of shared data. And the best part? It's only $135. That's right, as low as $45 per person. Perfect for small families, couples, or close friends. Smart Trio. 3 lines, 1 smart choice. Sign up now and you could win a Trio getaway to San Pedro for 3. Visit us at www.smart-bz.com for more information or sign up at any showroom today. Smart, bringing people together.
This building that we have gotten, the Welcome Center, is not just walls and it's not just here to beautify the Punta Gorda town and as an extension the Toledo district and Belize, but it's also here to play a main purpose and a role, and that is to continue to promote our tourism sector in Belize.
This provides us a platform and a venue for us to be able to do multiple things in working towards enhancing the tourism environment in Toledo and really showcasing it not only to locals but also to our international guests, which are paramount for us to continue to grow this industry.
This project, like others that we're working on throughout the country, was designed and is being delivered by Belizeans. We have spoken to the communities, we've spoken to tourism stakeholders and what needs to be done to ensure that we have the necessary infrastructure to improve the quality of the visitor experience.
There's a saying I often return to, and that is a Chinese saying, that says, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. Today, Belize chooses now because Belize has always lived under the shade of the tree. Remember Sobumbra floreo. Our forests, mangroves, rivers, and farms are not just features of our landscape, they are part of who we are as a people. They protect us from storms, feed our families, support livelihoods, and anchor our resilience in a changing climate. But we also know this truth. What we do not protect, we will eventually lose.
Greening Belize, 1 million trees for climate and sustainable development. Our forest cover is declining, especially after the fire season. What will be achieved? Restore and reforested lands, significant increase in hectares restored by 2035. Enhance carbon sequestration. We'll have improved data, mapping, and reporting systems with this. Institutional readiness, feasibility study and design for a national forestry incentive program, community mobilization, which will build capacity and increase participation nationally, and improve governance.
For all environmentally conscious individuals and groups, CBOs, NGOs, community organizations, universities, come in to do their part to plant trees to assist in the restoration initiative for the country of Belize.
His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali of Guyana has wrapped up his official visit to Belize, marking a historic first for both nations. The President was farewelled at Philip Golson International Airport by His Excellency Ambassador Amalia Mai, the Chief Executive Officer at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, along with members of the Belize Defense Force Honor Guard in a warm send-off. This groundbreaking visit signifies the first time a Guyanese head of state has traveled to Belize. During his stay, President Ali and his delegation participated in a joint parliamentary session before embarking on a series of courtesy visits to 4 key sites in the Cayo district. The first stop was at Santander Sugar Limited. Their itinerary continued with a visit to Belcar in Spanish Lookout, where they engaged in discussions about the company's processing of beans, grains, and refined cornmeal, along with exploring potential markets for expansion across the Caribbean. Subsequently, the delegation toured the operations of Quality Poultry Products headquarters, and their day concluded with a visit to Western dairies, focusing on dairy processing activities throughout Belize. President Ali arrived in Belize on Sunday for a 3-day official visit, during which time 5 memorandum of understanding designed to deepen cooperation and strengthen ties between the two nations were signed.
The several memorandums of understanding we will sign today covers diverse areas: education, tourism, digitization, and agriculture. They cover socio-economic and productive sectors of our countries. They provide solid bases for deeper collaboration in areas of mutual benefit. We offer our experience in tourism as you build your tourism product in the land of many waters. Our geographic similarities provide scope for knowledge sharing. Our expertise in agriculture will be made available and educational opportunities explored. Your experience in digitization will help us in our own efforts in this regard. Belize and Guyana must move deliberately to achieve our mutual ambition to feed CARICOM. The revised Treaty of Chaguaranos provides this legal framework for free movement of goods within CARICOM. We must leverage our abundant resources, facilitate private sector investment, and reap the benefits of our people.
After 15 months of extensive renovation, Belize's National Assembly building has officially reopened, marking a major upgrade to one of the country's most important democratic institutions. The 50-year-old structure located in the nation's capital has been considered outdated and inadequate to meet the expanding responsibilities of both the Senate and the House of Representatives, which operate from within the building. The renovation project was undertaken to modernize the facility while ensuring it could better support the growing workload of Parliament. The project was initially launched through a grant from the government of the Republic of China, Taiwan, valued at over $1.5 million. However, the total cost of the upgrade reached more than $5.8 million, with the remainder being undertaken by the government of Belize, according to Chief Engineer at the Ministry of Infrastructure Development, Evaldale Moody. This week, the newly renovated building was officially inaugurated, and today members of the media were given a guided tour of the upgraded state-of-the-art facility.
Based on the structure of the building, yes, the structure remained the same, the foundation remained the same. However, the idea was to try and see how best we could preserve the identity of the structure but make it more modern. And so by doing the works that we have done within the structure, we believe that we have achieved that goal in terms of modernizing the structure, making it more energy efficient, and also preserving the historic features of the structure. In terms of the works that has been done, I think it's important that I elaborate on the scope of works that has been undertaken. As I've mentioned before, we basically gutted out the entire structure interior, and we started from the ground up. That included the installation of new plumbing structure for the entire building, the installation of new electrical features, the installation of an elevator now, so that we could meet the Disability Act requirements and also the new building code that will become effective very soon. We had to ensure that the roof structure itself was rehabilitated because we had issues with the roof itself. In terms of the interior of the building, we did not have sufficient space based on how it was originally formulated, and so we had to go back to the drawing board on many occasions to ensure that everything that is required by the Senate and also by the House is inclusive within the structure. We were able to reconstruct the entire chamber of the National Assembly. We had a number of member rooms and also committee rooms that were installed as well. The facility basically provides access to the public in terms of the galleries that were reconstructed, and we have also provided safe space and also bathrooms and other facilities for the public itself. So the transformation that we have done at the National Assembly, to my knowledge, is amazing with what we had before, and the $5.8 million that we have utilized for the construction of this building is really within the building costs presently in Belize. I think that would work out to maybe around $300 per square foot. But if you look at the features that has been included in this structure, I believe anyone would be amazed that we were able to accomplish this within $5.8 million.
Moody explained that the building has been fully retrofitted with modern accommodations while carefully preserving its historic exterior and architectural character.
In terms of the existing structure, we mainly had problems with the exterior of the building. The exterior of the building was originally built from masonry blocks. And so because we wanted to retain the historic features of the building, we had to do a number of works in terms of the pressure washing and also the application of sealant to the bricks that are currently on the structure in an effort to preserve it and give it more longevity. There were sections of the building in terms of the roof structure that we had to completely redone. In terms of the steel truss for the roof, we insulated those with foam in an effort to give it more life and also to give it more thermal protection. We also had areas on the exterior of the building that had severe cracks that we had to try and redo over in an effort to give the building, as I said, more life and more longevity. The stairs itself, it was really archaic, and so we tried to improve it a little in terms of providing some exterior tiles to the stairs. In terms of the building itself, because we had to include an elevator on one side, we thought that it was important for us to create symmetry in terms of the building. And so because the elevator is located on the right-hand side, we had to build a new tower there to accommodate the elevator. So we had to replicate that on the left-hand side so that it creates that symmetry when you look at the building from the exterior. So all those things we had to go through. In terms of the floor plan, that was major work for MIDH because we had to consult with the president and also with the speaker and the clerk. And so at times we had to review and edit those floor plans, I think maybe 10 times before we reached the point where we are right now, in terms of creating that space that was necessary to make the building functional. I think that was the most important thing, that we wanted to make the building functional to be used by the Senate and also by the House.
Speaker of the House of Representatives, Her Excellency Valerie Woods, also welcomed the improvements, highlighting the enhanced accessibility features now incorporated into the building. She noted that the upgrades align with Belize's ongoing efforts to establish comprehensive disability legislation.
The ramps, yes, is one. The restrooms, every floor has a unisex restroom that is handicapped able now. In addition to that, you also needed to recognize that, well, you may have visitors who may need to be in wheelchairs. So some conversations were had with MIDH to ensure that on each gallery side, we allowed for 2 spaces in the first row that you won't have chairs for any regular sitting, and that they are set aside and reserved for those who have those mobility issues. Yesterday, we tested the sign interpretation as another means of inclusivity, and so the TV screens that you see suspended is for the purpose, yes, of the gallery, for those who are in 2nd, 3rd, 4th row, but also for those who are live streaming and those in the gallery who may have hearing impairment, that they can follow along. One other thing that we will need to look at going in the future, I think, will be what minimal implements can be put in place for someone with vision impairment to follow along. Some parliaments do have it, and it is not as extensive, for example, for those with hearing impairment, but specific for the 1 or 2 persons who may actually come who have vision impairment. And so it was a good test for us to have our young Miss Fisher, a former child parliamentarian. She delivered the prayer, and we are getting feedback from her on what minimal requirements would need to be in place if you were in the gallery, the visitor gallery, and you needed to be, you wanted to be more involved with the process. Yes, a person with vision impaired can do so if they have the hearing, but if you wanted to follow more along, what she, from her perspective, she thinks may be something we could consider going into the future. So modernization, accessibility, inclusivity, preservation of the heritage of the building, and collaboration with National Institute of Culture and History.
While President of the Senate, Honorable Carolee Trent Sandiford, said the renovations better reflect the evolving role, growth, and responsibilities of the National Assembly, describing the upgraded facility as more fitting for the work of modern governance.
The Senate do have a committee called the House Committee that has responsibility for looking at comfort, convenience, and remuneration of the senators. That committee, as far as the records will show, was activated in 2021. The Senate Standing Orders is from 1967. The records show that that committee has never been activated. So this is the first time we have actually a committee that is starting to look at the performance of senators, remuneration, issues of comfort and convenience, because the Senate has evolved, the magnitude of the work. For the 14th parliamentarian session, I can tell you we deliberated over 198 bills, 141 motions. There are some bills and motions which are as much as 400 plus pages. You are talking about issues now of finance, technology, climate. All of these issues are now finding their way into bills. So senators need to be able to have spaces, not only where they can sit comfortable or within a space to participate in the sittings, but also spaces where they can caucus together, meet together, discuss bills. All of this is important. So it's a whole ecosystem that we had to look at when we looked at the National Assembly. And as was previously mentioned, it was not only two houses that have moved from 18 members to 31 and 32 with the Speaker, a Senate that has moved from 7 members to 13 members and now 14 with the President of the Senate, but you also have a Senate now that have 3 distinct groupings. So as the Chief Engineer mentioned, all of these things have to be taken into consideration in the design.
The renovated National Assembly building now stands as a blend of historic preservation and modern functionality designed to serve Belize's lawmakers and the public for decades to come. The Belize Public Utilities Commission, PUC, has released an initial report raising questions about the level of competition in the country's telecommunications industry and its ability to safeguard consumer interest. This comprehensive 57-page document, now open for public feedback, assesses the state of competition in both the retail and wholesale telecommunications markets. The PUC's preliminary analysis investigates whether current market conditions permit licenses to operate independently without undue influence from competitors, consumers, or other market players. Such an assessment could trigger regulatory action under Section 42 of the Telecommunications Act. The primary aim of this review, the Commission emphasizes, is to protect consumers. It warns that insufficient competitive pressure might lead to higher prices, limited service options, lower quality, or unfair treatment of users. The legal framework governing this process is Section 19.5 of the Telecommunications Act. It stipulates that any sale, merger, or transfer of control involving telecommunications providers must receive prior approval from the PUC. The regulator retains the authority to reject transactions that could undermine the Act's core objectives, namely preventing monopolies, safeguarding consumers from excessive charges, and fostering fair competition. The release of this initial determination effectively formalizes the PUC's concerns, framing them within a regulatory context. Essentially, the core question the Commission is exploring is whether the absence of a dominant player, such as SpeedNet, would lead to a significant reduction in competition. Importantly, the PUC clarified that the document is not a final verdict on market dominance or any ongoing acquisition. It explicitly states that the report is for consultation purposes, does not impose any obligations or restrictions, and does not constitute a finding of breach of the law. The scope of the assessment spans various services. On the retail side, it considers fixed voice, mobile services, broadband internet, international roaming, toll-free numbers, and enterprise messaging. At the wholesale level, it reviews call termination, network access, leased lines, and international connectivity, factors that influence competition downstream. The PUC warns that dominance at the wholesale level can translate into unfair advantages in retail markets, potentially stifling competition. While market dominance can suggest significant influence, the PUC clarified that it does not imply illegal conduct. Instead, it functions as a regulatory indicator, helping determine whether increased oversight is warranted to protect consumers and foster a level playing field. The agency also highlighted that its analysis is forward-looking, based on current and anticipated market conditions, rather than past regulatory decisions or private transactions. Stakeholders, including licenses, consumer organizations, and the general public, are encouraged to submit written comments by March 2nd at 4 p.m. These inputs will help the PUC decide whether to uphold, modify, or withdraw its initial findings before reaching any definitive conclusions. Meanwhile, Belize Telecommunications Limited, BTL, has maintained that no final decisions have been made and asserts it is operating within legal parameters. The ongoing proposed acquisition, however, continues to face opposition from business groups, religious organizations, media outlets, and civil society, who express concern over its potential impact on competition and consumer welfare. And there is more news after the break. Stay tuned.
There is a saying I often return to, and that is a Chinese saying, that says, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. Today, Belize chooses now because Belize has always lived under the shade of the tree. Remember Sobumbre floreo. Our forests, mangroves, rivers, and farms are not just features of our landscape, they are part of who we are as a people. They protect us from storms, feed our families, support livelihoods, and anchor our resilience in a changing climate. But we also know this truth. What we do not protect, we will eventually lose.
Greening Belize, 1 million trees for climate and sustainable development. Our forest cover is declining, especially after the fire season. What will be achieved? Restore and reforested lands, significant increase in hectares restored by 2035. Enhance carbon sequestration. We'll have improved data, mapping, and reporting systems with this. Institutional readiness, feasibility study and design for a national forestry incentive program. Community mobilization, which will build capacity and increase participation nationally, and improve governance.
For all environmentally conscious individuals and groups, CBOs, NGOs, community organizations, universities, come in to do their part to plant trees to assist in the restoration initiative for the country of Belize.
The Civil Registry Department and Vital Statistics Unit provides comprehensive information
Belize strengthened its national tsunami preparedness through a 5-day Tsunami Ready visit led by the International Tsunami Information Center for the Caribbean in collaboration with national and local stakeholders. The visit was conducted from Monday, January 26 to Friday, January 30, 2026, and focused on enhancing Belize's tsunami readiness planning, standard operating procedures, and community preparedness under the Tsunami Ready Recognition Program. The Tsunami Ready activities includes technical training on Pacific Tsunami Warning (PTW) products and services, the review and strengthening of tsunami standard operating procedures (SOPs), and outreach initiatives targeting at-risk coastal communities. These efforts build national and local capacity to prepare for, respond to, and recover from tsunami events, while reinforcing Belize's commitment to regional and international tsunami risk reduction initiatives. The international technical team supporting the visit included Krista von Hilbrandt, Andre, Manager, International Tsunami Information Center, Caribbean Office, Puerto Rico, Kimberly Maisnot Gonzalez, Contractor, International Tsunami Information Center, Caribbean Office, Puerto Rico, and Christopher Moore, Tsunami Modeler, NOAA Center for Tsunami Research, Pacific Marine Environmental Laboratory. The visit involved key stakeholders, including the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, the National Met Service of Belize, and the Belize Cities Council City Emergency Management Organization, CEMO. Core activities included a national workshop focused on tsunami SOPs, technical discussions with the Belize City Council, and site visits to the National Met Service offices. Additional sessions included national-level training and a tabletop exercise at NEMO's headquarters in Belmopan, along with a courtesy call to the United States Embassy. The week concluded with community engagement visits to tsunami-prone coastal communities, including Placencia, Riversdale, Hopkins, Gales Point, and Mullins River. These engagements involved meetings with village emergency committees and local leaders to strengthen community awareness, preparedness, and coordination. In commemoration of World Wetlands Day 2026, national and community partners gathered in Crooked Tree Village on Friday, January 38, 2026, to formalize a landmark Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, governing the traditional use and sustainable management of the Crooked Tree Wildlife Sanctuary. The agreement was executed between the Ministry of Sustainable Development, Climate Change, and Solid Waste Management through the National Biodiversity Office, the Crooked Tree Village Council, and the Belize Audubon Society. The keynote address was delivered by Honorable Orlando Habet, Minister of Sustainable Development, Climate Change, and Solid Waste Management, during which he emphasized that the agreement demonstrated how culture, tradition, and conservation could coexist within protected areas. The MOU established a clear framework to regulate traditional fishing and resource use within the Crooked Tree Wildlife Sanctuary while maintaining compliance with national environmental legislation. It outlined roles and responsibilities among the parties, recognized traditional fisher folk, and set conditions to ensure sustainable use and monitoring and enforcement. The agreement also laid the groundwork for updating the sanctuary's management plan and advancing its proposed reclassification to Wildlife Sanctuary 2, reflecting a more inclusive and participatory conservation model for Crooked Tree Village and its buffer communities. Community representation featured prominently throughout the ceremony, reinforcing the principle that Crooked Tree Village and its buffer communities were central to the long-term management of the sanctuary. And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Wednesday, February 4th here on Ctv3 News and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/ctv3belizenews or our YouTube channel at ctv3newsbz. From all of us here at CTV3, thank you for watching and listening. Good night.